Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness, reporting from our Eagle News studio in the Western Canadian province of Alberta. My city is Edmonton, and I'm here to bring you news and commentary from across the country. Well, a good Thursday morning to you. It looks like it's going to be another hot, muggy day in Metro Manila. AccuWeather putting the temperature right now at about 29 degrees, but the real feel is 35. Expect haze in the air today. You're going to have kind of that almost smoggy look today. Should get up to about 35 degrees, but it's going to feel like 41, so find a way to stay cool. Thunderstorm forecast for tonight, and those of you with breathing difficulties, you might want to stay inside because the air quality is rated as poor. Coffee's on. I've already got my second cup almost gone here. Lots of 3-in-1 there. So grab that second cup, sit back, relax, and I'll tell you what's happening in Canada. First, a look at the weather across the country. Our street scene today comes from Mississauga. What makes you say Mississauga? Well, actually, it's a community that's part of the Greater Toronto Area. Across the country today, partly cloudy on the west coast. Victoria reporting 14 degrees and Vancouver at 15. Across the mountains to Alberta, we've got sunshine in Edmonton. Oh, it's been cool here. It's been cool all week. A lot of rain again today, on and off. Still clouds in the sky, 11 degrees right now. So it's somewhat cooler than we normally get in June. Calgary, partly cloudy, and I think they got up to about 15 degrees today. Saskatoon, mostly cloudy and 15. Nice and warm in Regina, Saskatchewan, though. Sunny and up to 21. In Winnipeg, temperatures still holding steady in that warm part of the thermometer. They're at 24 degrees. Clouds in the sky, though. Toronto, mainly cloudy and 25. Ottawa, cloudy and 16. Montreal reporting light rain and 13 degrees. And we've got cloud cover over most of the Atlantic provinces. Although in Fredericton, the sun is kind of peeking out a little bit from behind those clouds. 17 degrees there. Halifax, Nova Scotia, still pretty chilly. Light rain and 7 degrees, but a bit of an improvement from yesterday. You remember it was only 2 degrees there. And you remember what I always say about the Atlantic provinces. Summer in the Atlantic provinces is 2 months long. July and August, the rest of the time it's pretty chilly. We go up to St. John's, Newfoundland, partly cloudy and 12 degrees. That's a look at weather. Some of the stories we're following today: more anti-racism protests planned in Canada. The Prime Minister watching the situation in Hong Kong. As you know, there's a lot of unrest there as well. The central bank makes no changes in interest rates. Canada has made a deal to buy 37 million syringes. What are they going to use them for? Is online learning all that it's cracked up to be? And what are the implications for post-secondary education? National Indigenous History Month in Canada. We'll have a report on that, as well as a salute to seniors in Calgary. And we're going to finish the program by soothing your mind with a little bit of music. You know, as the anti-racism protests continue for an 8th straight day in the United States, it was relatively quiet in Canada. About 2,000 people participated yesterday in a virtual protest. This was organized in Edmonton. It was strictly online, and that online event hours. And we heard from people talking about their experiences with racism. But a number of rallies are planned in major Canadian cities this weekend. Most of them will be Friday night, tomorrow night. Thousands are expected to turn out. But unlike the demonstrations in the United States, the protests here have been relatively peaceful, with only sporadic incidents of vandalism. Those protests, of course, sparked by the death last week of George Floyd, a 46-year-old African-American man. He died after a police officer knelt on his neck. In the minutes before he died, 4 officers involved have been fired. All have been charged, and the charges against Derek Chauvin have been upgraded to second-degree murder. Well, anticipating that a COVID-19 vaccine might be on the horizon, Prime Minister Trudeau had the order book out today. He says Canada signed a contract to buy 37 million syringes.
We've signed a contract for millions of syringes to have the supplies needed once a vaccine is ready. Working with suppliers from around the world is key to keeping Canadians safe.
Now, there's no timeline on when these needles will arrive. Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Theresa Tam says planning is key, and planning is underway to determine who will get priority when a vaccine becomes available. And experts figure that could be as long as 18 months from now, but better to be prepared now than scrambling at the last minute. With all of the problems in Hong Kong, with the future of that region uncertain, there are questions about the fate of tens of thousands of Canadian citizens living there. There's, I think, around 300,000 Canadians that live in Hong Kong. Prime Minister Trudeau says he's keeping an eye on the situation there.
We continue to be very concerned about the situation in Hong Kong. We have 300,000 Canadian citizens who live in Hong Kong, and millions of others who are fighting for justice and peace. These are things that we obviously are watching and following very carefully. We will continue to stand up for peace, for dialogue, for de-escalation of tensions, and for Beijing to engage constructively with the people of Hong Kong.
But it does look like things are about to change very dramatically there. You remember the drug hydroxychloroquine? That's the one that U.S. President Donald Trump promoted, saying, oh, this will prevent or treat COVID-19. Well, I guess it's time for Trump to go back to med school. There's a new study done at McGill University in Montreal with collaborations from researchers at the universities in Alberta, Manitoba, and Minnesota. This is what they found. They found the drug is not effective in preventing the disease in people who've been exposed to the virus. Lots of side effects, too, most of them pretty mild. Nausea, stomach problems, abdominal discomfort. Nothing serious, though, like heart problems, which can be a side effect of that. None of those problems, heart problems, were reported in the study group. Full details have been published today in the New England Journal of Medicine. No change in Canadian interest rates. The Bank of Canada maintained its overnight rate at 0.25%. The central bank says the impact of the pandemic appears to have peaked, although it's pretty uncertain about how the recovery will unfold. In Canada, the pandemic has led to historic losses in output in jobs. Jobless numbers, I think, will be out on Friday as well. That'll be for the month of May. Still, though, the Canadian economy appears to have avoided the most severe scenario that the bank predicted in its April forecast. And while the outlook for the second half of this year and beyond remains heavily clouded, we really don't know what's going to happen. The bank is expecting the economy to resume growth in the third quarter and perhaps even look better in the fourth quarter as we end the year. Inflation, incidentally, has decreased to near zero, and that's mainly due to lower prices for gasoline. Well, when the pandemic is over, how is post-secondary education in Canada going to look? You know, university classes have been canceled, pretty much. Pretty much everybody's learning online. And that's been the way it's been for the last several months. Many universities plan to continue that for as many courses as possible this fall. Again, social distancing in classrooms. You can't keep adding classes. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many professors. There's only so much space. You got to spread students out, and if you don't have the space, what's the alternative? Go to online. So when the pandemic ends, educators and students alike, they'll probably want to continue to do this, or at least take the parts of online learning that they like, and then just scrap the rest. Now, this report was prepared for the Royal Bank of Canada. An economist warned that some people will lose out in the move to online education. It's not all roses. It doesn't solve everything. And this is why. About 10% of the households, mostly in rural areas and some low-income areas, they just don't have reliable broadband access. Low-income households face, like I said, those similar things. They can't afford broadband, even though it might be available. And the economists say in normal years, about 40,000 high school students drop out of their studies. They just leave the classroom. They leave school. This year, they're saying this year that number could reach 300,000 due to the economic insecurity. Now, how is this going to affect the market for international students? You know, they're a big moneymaker for universities in Canada and the country as a whole. not only just the universities, because they contribute about $22 billion to the economy. $22 billion! That's a lot of money. About 11,000 foreign students become permanent residents each year as well. And with the borders closed, well, now, can distance learning work? In some cases, yes. In some cases, but about a quarter of the students, foreign students in Canada, if they were back home, that's about 168,000 of them, about a quarter of them come from countries where the internet is heavily censored, so they might not get access to our course content because of the internet in their country. So in their case, the distance learning is just not going to work. And as well, online learning, you don't have the hands-on experience. I mean, how can you teach surgery with an online class? All very interesting challenges as we move to the new normal, a new way of living that we still don't know how it's going to look. Now, to help with that online learning in Ontario, the government there is going to spend another $150 million to bring broadband internet service to rural areas. And again, that was one of the things we're talking about. You need broadband in rural areas. Premier Doug Ford says reliable, high-speed internet is no longer a luxury. You know, you got to think back. You got to think back. When Edison invented the light bulb, electricity was a luxury. It was a luxury for years. I remember growing up in the 50s. In the 50s, farming communities still used coal oil lamp. Electricity was a luxury. Today, it's essential. The internet has become the same way as essential. Ford says it should be available to everyone, no matter where they live. And the government is planning to have all high schools in that province to be connected to broadband by September. All elementary schools will be connected a year later. Well, Ontario is still struggling to control the spread of COVID-19. You know, for a couple of days this week, they had more than 400 new cases a day. Dropped a little bit, the province reporting 338 new ones in the last day. 19 more deaths in that province. That's a 1.2% increase in total cases. They just can't seem to flatten the curve there. Don't know what the problem is. Part of the increase, but not all, has been because of an outbreak among migrant farm workers. They're housed in somewhat close quarters in farming communities in southern Ontario. The vegetable crops are now being harvested there, so they use a lot of migrant workers to handle that work. But that housing, it just hastens the spread of the infection. Well, still to come, librarians in Toronto are going to be busy next week. We'll have a story about National Indigenous History Month. We'll talk about seniors in Calgary. And I want to finish up the program today with some music. You're watching Eagle News Mornings from Canada.
Kahit na maraming kababayan natin ang nasa loob lang ng kanilang tahanan, hindi naman ito naging hadlang upang ipamalas nila ang natatangi nilang galing.
Ano ang nangyari sa'yo?
Sa ating next episode, saksihan ang online audition ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Siyempre, dito lang yan sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa Pilipinas, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Mig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Mig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The Bulacan Bulk Water Project is a treatment facility that will provide bulk water to the 24 municipalities of Bulacan to meet the increasing water demand of its residents. Through concessionaire, SMC Infrastructure also initiated the significant improvements of the Manila North Harbor Port, the country's busiest port.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
This is Eagle News Mornings from Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness. Well, the Toronto Public Library has been closed for about 3 months now. More than 500,000 items are still out on loan. But beginning Monday, people will be able to start returning them. And, that's just going to create a logistical nightmare for staff as they try to deal with the thousands of books, DVDs, musical instruments. I didn't know this, but they even lend out telescopes. All this stuff has to be returned. They're doing curbside returns, but only at 6 branches. Hopefully everybody doesn't decide to show up at once to return all this stuff. What about fines for overdue items? 3 months. I mean, you'd need a small mortgage to pay off some of those fines. Not to worry, though. They've been waived by the pandemic. Well, in the month of June, the federal government recognizes Indigenous people in this country. We have more on that story from Eagle News correspondent Raisa Mangilit.
June is National Indigenous History Month, and here in Ontario, people are encouraged to celebrate Indigenous heritage while reflecting on the achievements of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Greg Rickford, Minister of Indigenous Affairs, encouraged Ontarians to celebrate this occasion even though in-person gathering is not possible due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Statistics Canada, the rate of Indigenous people who reported experiencing victimization was more than double than that of non-Indigenous people. Indigenous women also experience spousal violence more than 3 times than that of non-Indigenous women. The homicide rate for Indigenous females was found to be nearly 6 times higher than that for non-Indigenous females from 2001 to 2015. Ontario is establishing an Indigenous Women's Advisory Council, which aims to protect Indigenous women, provide advice on violence prevention, help confront and eliminate the violence they experience. This council will also focus on critical issues such as human trafficking, child, youth, and family healing and well-being, and the province's official report on the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Take a listen. Indigenous women deserve to feel safe and secure. By establishing this council, we can actively work in partnership with Indigenous leaders and community partners to deal with violence in a cultural relevant way. Jill Dunlop, Associate Minister of Children and Women's Issues. About 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced additional steps being taken by the federal government in order to support Indigenous people during this pandemic. Take a look.
We're investing in emergency shelters to help Indigenous women and children fleeing violence. We're offering interest-free loans and non-repayable contributions to help Indigenous businesses weather this storm. We're helping First Nations, Inuit, and Métis Nation students and recent grads find a job this summer. And last week, we announced more funding to support the most urgent needs of Indigenous communities dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak.
American-Canadian First Nations Cherokee writer Thomas King said, "No matter how you frame Native history, the one inescapable constant is that Native people in North America have lost much." In Toronto, Raisa Mangirit, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Well, joining me live this morning, J.C. Newmel. He's our Eagle News correspondent from Calgary, the city about 2.5 hours south of where I live. He has a story I can relate to this morning. Calgary is recognizing seniors this week. The problem with being a senior, I love old music from the 50s and 60s, but the sad thing is I remember it all when it was a hit. Good morning, J.C. How are you this morning?
Hey, Tom. Good morning, and I'm good. And how about you? How are you?
Feeling old. It's Seniors Week. Do I get special discounts or anything if I come down to Calgary this week?
Well, actually, Tom, on June 1 till 7 here in Calgary, it is known also as a Seniors Week. It is a celebration to acknowledge the contribution of the seniors in Calgary. Seniors support their family members, friends, and even the community, which some of them do charitable works and volunteer their time. So for this year's theme, the Seniors Week is about resilience. The City of Calgary is asking the citizens to look forward and celebrate the resilience of the older adult in the community. The event that we'll celebrate this week are being held virtually. So don't worry, Calgarians, we are still practicing social distancing. So here are some of the activities that will happen this week. More Than a Number, which is a live streaming reading, Facts or Fiction, a senior housing in Alberta, dementia and risk reduction talks, and a watch party that will feature film The Great Disconnect. You can visit all of these activities here at the Calgary website, which is calgary.ca, and search for those events, and you could be able to connect on those activities via virtual meeting. Also, Tom, and everyone watching in the Philippines, another lighter side of this news, if you know anyone who is turning 100 years old here in Calgary, yes, 100 years old, the Calgary Fire Department drive-by program is another lighter side of this news. If you know, and it is extended for the seniors who are turning 100 years old. So just send them a message at calgary.ca/birthday surprise so that they can able to arrange a few of their crew to be with them and greet them a happy birthday. Time is really changing right now. There are so many new norms, so many changes, but the appreciation that we have for our seniors should never change. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, this is JC Newmel, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
How many years are you away from being a senior?
I think you need to double my age for that. But yes, well, as I said, the appreciation should never be changed, because we should always show appreciation to the seniors and to the elderly, because because of them, we are here.
Yep. A lot of knowledge to be gained. You know, we haven't had you on the program for a little while, so let's catch up a little bit with what's happening in Calgary. Your city was a little bit behind the rest of the province in terms of the reopening process. You're now well into phase 1. How's that working out down there?
Well, I think we are more than 1 week away, 1 week over phase 1. And by looking at it, actually, I was been out I was able to get a haircut. You could see on my hair because if you remember, I have long hair a few shows before. Then one thing also that you could recognize is we were as a family, we were able to try to dine out and get some sushi. The way that they are really treating social distancing is really awesome. They have their face masks, they sanitize, and they really clean the place well. So I think what to say is kudos to all those restaurant people who are working, and they were able to clean it up. They were able to really prepare on the phase one, and we are all looking forward on the next phase.
Looking forward to getting down to Calgary to try some of that sushi. Thanks for joining us this morning, JC. We're going to finish our program today with some music. You know, music soothes the mind. It heals the heart. It makes the heart whole. Let's listen now to Homer Concepcion.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. This is a song by the late and the great Bill Withers.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long, so I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, so I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me when you need a friend. Call me. I'm telling you to call me when you need a friend. Call me when you need a friend. Call me.
Lean on Me. That was number one in 1972. And overall for the year, number 7, and the 208th most popular song, according to Rolling Stone, off their list of 500 songs. Well, maybe we'll be seeing Homer Concepcion one day on the E25 record label. EBC always has something good to watch. Programs like Unfiltered Discussions with host Frendel Verheeren. Watch professionals discuss real life balancing acts between Work Life and Home Life, unfiltered discussions. You can catch it on Facebook and YouTube, and that's our program for today. I'm finished for the week now. Marco Zaruda will be sitting in the big chair tomorrow, and on behalf of our Canadian news team, I wish you all good health. Take care of others, take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Department of Foreign Affairs ipinarating na sa Embahada ng Estados Unidos na sinususpende na ng pamahalaan ang pagpapawalang bisa sa Visiting Forces Agreement. Sa ating balitang abroad, China nagbabala sa Britanya sa kanilang pakikialam sa kasalukuyang sitwasyon sa Hong Kong. Alok ni British Prime Minister Boris Johnson na visa sa mga Hong Kong residents kinontra ng Chinese officials. Ako ang inyong magiging tagapaghatid balita. Ako po si Maricar Velasco. Sa detalye ng mga balita, umakyat na sa 19,748 ang kabuang bilang ng COVID-19 cases na naitala sa bansa. Batay sa datos ng Department of Health, may naitalang 751 na karagdagang pangkaso. Pero sa bilang na ito ay 221 lamang ang fresh cases habang 530 naman ang late cases. Sa mga fresh cases na ito, 68 ang mula sa National Capital Region, 102 sa Region 7 at ang 51 naman ay mula sa iba pang lugar sa bansa. Sa mga late cases naman, ang 174 ay mula sa NCR, 240 naman sa Region 7, 105 sa iba pang lugar sa bansa, habang ang 11 naman ay mula sa hanay ng mga repatriates. Ipinaliwanag naman ni Health USEC Maria Rosario Vergere na ang mataas na bilang ng late cases sa Region 7 ay dahil sa kahapon lamang nakapagsumite ng accomplishment report ang isa sa mga laboratorio na lisensyadong magsagawa ng COVID-19 test. Ang laboratorio na ito ay huling nakapagsumite noong May 20.
Ang mataas na late cases na galing sa Region 7 ay dahil kahapon lang po nakapag-submit ng accomplishment reports ang isa sa mga laboratorio natin mula pa noong May 20.
May 9 na po namang naitala na bagong naka-recover mula sa COVID-19. Kaugnay nito, umakyat na sa 4,153 ang bilang ng mga pasyenteng gumaling mula sa virus. May 8 namang naiulat pang nasawi dahil sa COVID-19. Kaya sa kabuuan ay nasa 974 na ang bilang ng nasawi sa bansa dahil sa COVID-19. Dismayado ang mga senador sa Department of Health dahil hindi pa nabibigyan ng kompensasyon ang pamilya ng mga health workers na namatay at nagkasakit dahil sa paglaban sa COVID-19. Ayon sa mga mambabatas, hindi dapat i-delay ang benepisyo para sa pamilya ng mga namatay at nagkasakit na frontliners. Si Mayan Corvera sa detalye.
Pinabibigyan na ng kompensasyon ng mga senador ang pamilya ng mga health worker na namatay at nagkasakit dahil sa paglaban sa COVID-19. Dismayado ang mga senador dahil hanggang ngayon wala pang nakukuhang tulong pinansyal ang pamilya ng mga namatay at nagkasakit na health workers. Ayon kay Senator Sani Angara, Chairman ng Senate Committee on Finance, sa umiiral na bayanihan to heal as one law, dapat bigyan ng 1 milyong piso ang pamilya ng public at private health worker na namatay habang 100,000 pesos ang makukuha ng malubhang magkakasakit. Habang 100,000 pesos ang makukuha ng malubhang magkakasakit.
Well, I'm very disappointed to hear the response from the DOH, Your Honor, in fact, and I thank the gentleman from Zambales for bringing this out because, the Senate labored, burned the midnight oil to pass Bayanihan 1. And I know you had a hand in this provision because you intervened to provide for our health workers. So it's quite upsetting to find out that it has taken so many, so many months have gone without the DOH crafting the IRR here because as some of our colleagues in the session hall, like Senator Lacson, have pointed out, so many health workers have already suffered, whether it's died or been severely afflicted with the COVID virus. So, yes, again, it's very upsetting, I think.
Sa impormasyong nakuha ng Senado, 32 health workers na ang namatay dahil sa COVID-19 habang 2 ang malubhang nagkasakit dahil sa virus. Pero ni isa sa kanila hindi nakatanggap ng anumang ayuda mula sa gobyerno dahil wala pa umanong implementing rules and regulations ang batas.
It's really criminal, this neglect to pass this and to delay these types of benefits. I mean, these people we keep praising them as our heroes, but yet it's just mere lip service if we don't give them anything material.
Ayon kay Senator Ping Lacson, paglabag sa batas ang ginawa ng DOH. Paalala ni Lacson, bukod sa tig-1 milyong pisong kompensasyon, dapat ring ibigay ng DOH ang special risk allowance sa government health workers, free medical expenses sa public at private health workers na tinamaan ng virus. Si Senator Richard Gordon ang nag-introduce ng naturang amyenda noong tinatalakay pa ang batas. Iginit ni Gordon na hindi katanggap-tanggap ang palusot ng DOH at hindi kailangan ng IRR. Malinaw naman anya mga probisyon nito bilang pagkilala sa sakripisyo at ambag ng mga frontliners. Nagpadala na ng sulat ang Senado sa DOH para igiit ang pagbibigay ng kompensasyon sa mga health workers na biktima rin ng COVID pandemic.
Neglect, sometimes we are sabihan na una yung salita sa gawa, Mr. President. And we should call the attention of whoever it is that will provide this, because there have already been 32 have died and about 2 severely sick that should be given some support. I'm not saying this, but insofar as Red Cross is concerned, we also have 18 of our people that have been affected by COVID, Mr. President. But we're not asking for the 100,000 at all. We're taking care of our own people, but those who are severely ill must be supported, Mr.
Ayon kay Senate President Vicente Soto, nagpadala na ng sulat ang Senado sa DOH para ibigay ang kompensasyon sa mga health workers na biktima rin ng COVID pandemic.
On the matter, I sent a letter just now, and I'll give you a copy of a very strongly worded letter to the DOH on why they have not implemented that part of the Bayanihan Dilas 1 Act. Dapat yung mga nasaktan or nagkasakit na mga health workers at yung mga namatayan na health workers, dapat kinocompensate na. Kung ito kami gagamitan ng palusot ng IRR, sinabi ko rin sa sulat ko yung kay Secretary Duque, huwag yung gagamitin yun. Sapagkat pag pinasa yung batas yun, hindi sinabi na kailangan na IRR mo na bago ipatupad yung batas. Huwag nyo lang gagamitin palusot sa amin yung walang IRR. Kailangan i-implement nila agad yan. Ang dami-daming pondong hawak nila eh.
Para sa Eagle News, may Ann Corvera, we live in interesting times.
Pag-aantala ng financial assistance at benefits sa mga frontliners na tinamaan ng COVID-19, personal na idudulog ni Secretary Harry Roque kay Pangulong Duterte. May report si Vic Sumintak.
Personal na tatalakayin ni Presidential Spokesman Secretary Harry Roque kay Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang pagkakaantala sa paglalabas ng financial assistance sa mga medical health workers na tinamaan ng COVID-19. Ayon kay Roque, kakausapin niya ang Pangulo para malaman kung ano ang magiging desisyon ng Chief Executive. Sinabi ni Roque, tatanungin niya ang Pangulo kung ano ang magiging direktiba niya hinggil dito dahil kung matatandaan nung maraming stranded na mga OFW sa iba't ibang quarantine facilities na naghihintay na lamang ng kanilang PCR test result ay nagbigay ng ultimatum ang Pangulo na pauwi ng mga ito sa loob ng 1 linggo. Inihayag ni Roque, inaasahan niyang magbibigay ulit ng ultimatum si Pangulong Duterte hinggil sa pagbibigay ng death benefits at iba pang benepisyo sa mga apektadong frontliners. Matatandang ilang senador ang nagpahayag ng pagkadismaya matapos matuklasan na wala ni isang health workers na tinamaan ng COVID-19 ang nakatanggap ng sickness and death benefits na nakasaad sa Bayanihan to Heal as 1 Act. Sa pinakahuling datos ng DOH, umaabot na sa 2,669 na mga health workers ang COVID-19 positive. 32 ang naitalang nasawi, habang nasa 1,438 ang nakarecover. Para sa Eagle News, Vic Sumintak, we live in interesting times.
Pasado na sa second reading sa Senado ang mga panukalang batas na inaasahang magpapalakas sa kapasidad ng mga provincial hospitals sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa. Ayon kay Senator Christopher Bongo, Chairman ng Senate Committee on Health, layo ng mga panukala na mapataas ang pagbibigay ng medical at healthcare services sa mga lalawigan. Kabilang sa mga panukalang ito ang pagtatayo ng Bicol Women's and Children's Hospital sa Camarines Sur, improvement ng Quirino Memorial Medical Center sa Quezon City, Western Visayas Medical Center sa Iloilo City, Siargao District Hospital sa Surigao del Norte, Malita District Hospital sa Davao Occidental, Las Piñas General Hospital and Satellite Trauma Center sa Las Piñas City at Cagayan Valley Medical Center. Batay anya sa 2018 data ng Department of Health, halos 65% o 284 sa kabuang 437 public hospitals ang lampas sa kanilang limitasyon na base sa bed capacity at patient admittance. Sa kasalukuyang kaso ng COVID pandemic, mahalaga ang papel ng mga ospital at mga pasilidad nito para hindi na kumalat ang virus at mabigyan ng lunas ang mga may sakit na pasyente. Mga nasa sektor ng edukasyon aminadong malaking hamon sa kanila ang pagbubukas ng klase sa Agosto dahil sa banta ng COVID-19. May report si Madeline Villar Moratilio.
Aminado ang mga nasa sektor ng edukasyon na isang malaking hamon ang pagbubukas muli ng klase sa Agosto dahil sa kasalukuyang banta ng COVID-19. Ayon kay Benjo Basas, chairperson ng Teachers Dignity Coalition, maraming concern ang mga guro ngayon sa ilalim ng new normal. Partikularaan niya rito kung paano sila magiging epektibo sa pagtuturo mula sa kanilang nakasanayan.
Yung oras, dahil ito'y dapat gamitin sa pag-train sa mga teachers. Tandaan po natin, hindi rin po lahat ng mga guro po natin ay trained. Nag-aral po kami sa College of Education. Ang pinag-aralan po namin ang lesson planning ay actual na lesson planning. Pagharap sa bata, yung actual na pagharap sa bata, yung actual na recitation ng bata, yung actual na pakikipag-usap sa bata. Under this new normal condition po, ay marami pong adjustment na kinakailangan. At right now, ang inaatupan
Sakaling hindi naman matuloy ang pagbubukas ng klase sa Agosto, sinabi ni Basas na maaaring magamit ang panahon na ito para sa karagdagan pang pagsasanay sa mga guro sa panibagong paraan ng pagtuturo. Kaugnay nito, umapila naman si Basas sa Department of Education na dagdagan ang allowance na tinatanggap kada buwan ng mga guro o yung tinatawag na chalk allowance na nagkakahalaga ng 3,500. Sa pagtaya ni Basas, kailangan ng bawat guro ngayon ng karagdagang 1,200 pesos kada buwan para sa gastos nila sa internet connection upang manatiling online sa kanilang klase. Sagot naman ni DepEd Undersecretary Jess Mateo, nagkikipag-ugnayan na ang kagawaran sa dalawang malalaking telecommunication company sa bansa para sa mas maayos na internet connection at target nilang maisama rito maging ang para sa mga guro. Bukod sa internet connection, tinitignan na rin ng DepEd ngayon ang pangangailangan ng kanilang mga staff at lahat ng mga guro ng intervention ng mga dalubhasa sa mental health. Nagsasagawa na rin anya ang DepEd ng webinar o online seminar para matulungan ang mga nasa sektor ng edukasyon sa kanilang mental health na maaaring dumaranas ng pagkabalisa dahil sa kasalukuyang pandemya. Samantala, umapila naman ng DepEd at Commission on Higher Education sa pamunuan ng mga nasa pribadong institusyon na tiyaking merong sapat na konsultasyon sa mga magulang bago magpatupad ng anumang pagtataas sa tuition fee, lalo na sa panahong ito na lahat ay apektado ng krisis.
Pinapakiusapan din po natin yung private school tungkol pa doon sa mga miscellaneous fee kasi alam naman natin yung mga miscellaneous fees meron niyang halimbawa computer lab, computer fee, mga library fee.
E-library, sabi mo.
Basta lang po reasonable yung mga miscellaneous fees. At ulitin pa lang po natin, yan po ay dapat ayon doon sa patakaran na may konsultasyon.
So yung mga institutions po, that is why we still have to balance kasi most of them have submitted their application ng before the pandemic.
Yes.
Kasi ang submission po nila dapat hanggang April eh. But anyway, we have to take into consideration, the Commission recognizes the fact na itong pandemic na ito would really affect the institution itself and of course, yung sa financial aspect, not just of the institution but also yung kanilang mga stakeholders, yung mga estudyante dahil sa mga parents ng mga estudyante na ito. Kaya naman ang direktiba po ng komisyon ay supposedly kasi i-determine pa lang namin kung papayagan namin na mag-increase sila. Pero ang una muna namin ginawa, i-consult nyo ulit muna ang inyong mga stakeholders, ang inyong mga estudyante, ang kanilang mga magulang, para makita kung mailagay sa discussion itong pandemic na ito, isa mga fees that you are also requesting na maitaas, makita namin kung paano ito magiging, kung ma-justify ito.
Para sa Eagle News, Madeline Villar Moratillo, we live in interesting times.
Nagkaloob ang Israel ng mga medical supplies sa mga first responder ng Department of National Defense bilang tulong sa laban ng bansa sa COVID-19. Ayon sa Israel Embassy, personal na ibinigay ni Israeli Ambassador Rafael Harpaz ang mga donasyon kay National Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana sa isang seremonya sa Villamor Air Base. Kabilang sa ibinigay ng Israel sa DND ay 60,000 surgical masks, 6,000 N95 filtered face masks, 9,000 gowns, 3,000 face shields, 100,000 gloves at 100 non-contact thermometers. Ayon kay Harpaz, ang donasyon ay nagpapatunay sa matatag at friendly relations ng Pilipinas at Israel. Ipinaabot din ni Harpaz ang kanyang pasasalamat sa mga frontliners ng DND para sa serbisyo ng mga ito sa mga Pilipino ngayong COVID-19 pandemic. Samantala, binuksan na ng lokal na pamahalaan ng Taguig ang 3 ruta ng bike lane sa lungsod sa ilalim ng kanilang bike-friendly ordinance. Kasabay nito, pinag-aaralan na rin nila ang pagbili ng mga bisikleta na ipapahiram sa mga City Hall employees at mga health workers sa lungsod. Ang detalye sa report ni Mar Gabriel.
Kasabay ng selebrasyon ng World Bike Day, binuksan daw ng lokal na pamahalaan ng Taguig ang 3 ruta ng bike lane sa lungsod. Kasama sa mga binuksan ng bike lane sa Cayetano Boulevard, Bayani Road at ang bike lane sa kahabaan ng C6 Road. Naisakatuparan ito sa pamamagitan ng kanilang bike-friendly ordinance na layong himukin ng mga residente na gumamit ng bisikleta bilang transportasyon.
Itong bike lanes na ito ay napakahalaga. One, yung safety ng ating mga mamamayan at yung health benefits nito sa ating mga bikers o sa mga siklista. Kahit itanong po natin sa mga siklista na napakalaking bagay na itong health benefit nito na sa panahon ng COVID-19, isa iyan sa napaka-importante sa bawat mamamayan ng ating bansa na tayo'y maging matatag ang ating immune system, tayo'y maging healthy at itong pagbabike ay isang napaka-importante, napakagandang ehersisyo para sa ating mga kababayan.
At ngayon din na kayo sa at binigyan kami na isang napakagandang bike lane. Ulays po itong bike lane na ito eh. Kaya napakaganda na po para sa amin. From Taguig to Rizal, napakadali na po namin punta sa safety po namin.
Sa ilalim ng ordinansa, itatatag rin ng Taguig ang Active Transport Office na tututok sa pagbuo ng mga paraan upang maging bike-friendly ang lungsod. Makikipag-ugnayan din sila sa mga mall at sa iba pang establishmento para sa paglalagay ng bike racks para sa mga empleyado at mga customer. Pinag-aaralan na rin ng lungsod ang pagbili ng mga bisikleta na ipapahiram sa mga empleyado ng City Hall at sa mga health workers para magamit sa pagpasok at pag-uwi galing sa trabaho.
Sa pamamagitan po ng bike, magpapabilis po yung paghatid namin ng mga gamot sa bahay-bahay po ng mga pasyente.
Isa na rin na magiging programa nito ay ang pagtatatag ng mga bike patrol. Na kung saan itong mga bike patrol ay ating ikakapacitate upang sila ay maging handa na siguraduhin ang health protocols na susundin dito sa ating sa syudad ng Taguig at upang sila rin ay mabigyan ng mga first aid kit na kung saan sila ay patuloy na iikot na nakabike at masiguro ang pagsasagawa ng ma-assure yung ating safe city protocols.
Kada buwan ay ipopost ng lokal na pamahalaan sa I Love Taguig Facebook page ang updated bike-friendly map sa lungsod para sa kapakanan ng mga bikers. Magsasagawa rin sila ng online education hour kung saan ituturo ang mga impormasyon ukol sa biking, proper etiquette at health benefits ng pagbibisikleta. Para sa Eagle News, Mar Gabriel, we live in interesting times.
Susunod, pagpapalakas ng military partnership ng Pilipinas at Estados Unidos magpapatuloy ayon sa DFA. Ang detalye na yan sa pagbabalik ng Agila Balita sa umaga.
Agila Balita.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChoice, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChoice. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Standard Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChoice. With active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChoice.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Ipinarating na ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA sa Embahada ng Estados Unidos na sinususpindi na ng pamahalaan ng Pilipinas ang pagpapawalang bisa ng Visiting Forces Agreement o VFA. Sinabi ni DFA Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. nagpasya ang pamahalaan na ipagpatuloy ang ugnayan sa regional allies nito para sa peace, stability at pagunlad ng ekonomiya. Si Mian Corveras, detalye.
Inianunsyo ng Department of Foreign Affairs na itutuloy ng Pilipinas ang pagpapalakas sa military partnership sa Estados Unidos. Ang pahayag ay ginawa ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. kasunod ng deklarasyon nito na sinuspende muna ng 6 na buwan ang pag-terminate ng Visiting Forces Agreement sa Amerika. Ayon kay Locsin, nagdesisyon ng gobyerno na ipagpatuloy rin ng Pilipinas ang ugnayan sa regional allies para sa peace, stability at pagpapatuloy ng pag-unlad ng ekonomiya.
In light of recent developments, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte instructed me to inform via diplomatic note the Ambassador of the United States that he has decided to suspend the pending termination of the Visiting Forces Agreement, which has several months more to run as stipulated therein. We look forward to continuing our strong military partnership with the United States, even as we continue to reach out to our regional allies in building a common defense towards enduring stability and peace and continuing economic progress and prosperity in our part of the world.
Nagbagoan niya ang desisyon ng Pangulo dulot ng political at development sa rehiyon kasama na ang COVID-19 health crisis sa buong mundo.
But in the vast and swiftly changing circumstances of the world, in a time of pandemic and heightened superpower tensions, world leader must be quick in mind and fast on his feet for the safety of our nation and the peace of the world. Let me assure you that this action alarms no country in Asia and the rest of the world. On the contrary, it greatly reassures everyone. Everyone now is free to speculate about what is clear and true on its face.
Magugunitang ipinag-utos ng Pangulo ang pagpapawalang bisa ng kasunduan matapos kanselahin ng Amerika ang visa ni dating PNP Chief at ngayon Senador Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Ayon kay De La Rosa, welcome development ang ginawang pagsuspende ng gobyerno sa VFA termination. Nagbabago raw talaga ang patakaran depende sa sitwasyon. Wala naman raw siyang balak na sumulat sa Amerika para ibalik na ang kanyang US visa. Naniniwala naman ang liderato ng Senado na hindi maapektuhan ng kanilang petisyon sa Korte Suprema kahit pa ipinatigil ng gobyerno ang proseso ng pagpapawalang bisa ng VFA. Nauna nang nagsampa ng petition for declaratory relief and mandamos ang Senado para igiit ang kapangyarihan nito sa pag-terminate ng isang tratado. Kung ang isang treaty nila ay dumadaan sa ratifikasyon o concurrence ng Senado, dapat ring may approval ng mataas na kapulungan kapag kailangan na itong i-terminate.
It's a good eventuality. Kapagkat hindi tayo nangangamba na ating BFA at saka madadama yung Mutual Defense Treaty at yung iba pang konektado rito ay matitigil na.
So sir, considering...
Then, the pending issue in the Supreme Court, which the petition we filed in the Supreme Court remains. We're still asking the Supreme Court whether an abrogation of the Executive Department must have the concurrence of the Senate. The concurring body. Di ba? So, andun pa rin yung questionnaire. Hindi matatouch yun. Tuloy pa rin yun.
Para sa Eagle News, Mayan Corbera will live in interesting times.
Mga pangyayari sa labas ng bansa. Balitang Abroad.
Nagbabala ang China sa Britanya sa kanilang pakikialam sa kasalukuyang sitwasyon sa Hong Kong. Sinabi ni Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian na pinapayuhan nila ang Britanya na huwag nang makialam sa issue at abandonahin na ang kanilang Cold War mentality at colonial mindset at kilalanin at igalang ang katotohanang ibinalik na ang Hong Kong sa China. Una rito, sinabi ni British Prime Minister Boris Johnson na aalukin niya ang mga Hong Kong residents ng visas at posibleng maging ng UK citizenship kapag iginiit ng China ang isinusulong na national security law.
英方对此妄加评论，横加指责，粗暴干涉香港事务和中国内政。中方对此表示强烈不满和坚决反对。我们已经向英方提出严正交涉。我们倒要奉劝英方悬崖勒马，摒弃冷战思维和殖民心态，认清并尊重香港已经回归是中国一个特别行政区的事实，恪守国际法和国际关系基本准则，立即停止干预香港事务和中国内政，否则必将搬起石头砸自己的脚。中英联合声明没有任何一个字、任何一个条款赋予英国在香港回归后对香港 承担任何责任。英国对回归后的香港无主权、无治权、无监督权，因此英方无权假借中英联合声明对香港事务说三道四，干涉中国内政。
At yan ang naging kabuuan ng ating may init na balita. Sa pangalan ng ating mga kaagapay sa Eagle News Service, ako po si Maricar Velasco and we live in interesting times. Susunod na ang programang Saganang Mamamayan kasama sina Congressman Dante Marcoleta at Jenso Barjaga.
Sumainyo ang mga balitang kinara, maingat na isinulat at inihanay ng Eagle News Service.